Eggplants, known by many as mbiringanya, belong to the nightshade family of plants and are used in many different dishes around the world. Although often considered a vegetable, they are technically a fruit as they grow from a flowering plant and contain seeds. There are many varieties that range in size and color, and while eggplants with a deep purple skin are most common, they can be red, green, or even black. Because they need warm soil, eggplants are usually purchased at 6 to 8 weeks old. To get a head start, raised beds enriched with composted manure are an ideal growing place for eggplants because the soil warms more quickly. Eggplants are also great for containers and make lovely ornamental borders. In fact, there are quite a few ornamental eggplant varieties available today. Those in edible fruit have attractive patterns. And when you are shopping for eggplants in the market, choose eggplants that are heavy for their size with firm and shiny skin. The flesh should feel firm when gently pressed. Store in the fridge in a plastic bag for up to 5 days. Now, let's go to the farm.
Wow, with this type of terrain, I definitely had to improvise. Wow, thank you so much. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Kilimo na Biashara. Today, we're focusing on a rather unique vegetable. This vegetable, you can take it like tomato with both the skin and the seeds. And also, you can take it like a potato, you cook it to enjoy it. This is eggplants. I'm talking about eggplants, and most of you call it mbiringanya. Has it rung a bell yet? If not, then let's go to the farm. How are you?
Hi, Linda.
Because Salama, I see you're busy in the farm.
Welcome to Rama Farm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are very welcome.
Leo kuna nini?
Today, okay, January we grow out of crops here. Lakini leo tunapanda eggplant peke yake. Watu wengine wanaziita brinjals. Biriganya huko Geshagi. Sasa like us now we call them aubergines in English.
So Gladys, even before we plant, what is an eggplant?
So eggplant is a vegetable. It's a fruit vegetable. Most people grow it because of its fruits. You'll find in the market, if you go, you'll find a ravaya type that's long. It's long, mostly eaten by Indians. Then we have this now, the one that looks like oval or even round. Now that's the black beauty type, and they're usually of different colors. There is one you find with black and another one with purple. So people have preferences depending on what they have seen or grown.
Which variety of eggplants do you have in this farm? Or rather, how many varieties are there for eggplants?
Depending on the market now, as we grow the black beauty type, you'll find that ours is a bit round. It is huge. It is making it's a bit long, but then it's expanding at the base. But you'll find other people now will grow the long one, especially in the open field. But us here, we have two. We grow inside and outside the greenhouse because our market now prefers this specific one that's black beauty type.
So what is the germination process once you've brought the seedlings here?
First of all, notice this eggplant is from the Solanaceae family. And this family, as we know, it's attacked by so many problems, especially diseases in the soil. You'll find even the climatic conditions outside. It will bring a lot of pest infestation and other effects like sunburns because it's a very soft fruit. So we usually plant ours in the nursery because it's a high value crop. We take ours to like places like the commercial nurseries, like Plantech, for example. We put our seedlings there. When they are like 6 weeks old, now they bring to us.
So you've brought these seedlings from Plantech. You transplant it here. So what is really transplanting when it comes to this crop?
Solanaceae family, we don't grow them like following each other. Where you had planted tomato, for example, and potatoes, you cannot plant eggplant because the diseases from the soil, they share the same. You'll find that wilting, for example, they will all be affected by wilt. So we make sure, like here we do crop rotation. Like here where we are planting this one today now, we had planted broccoli. And you know broccoli is a very good soil fumigant. It will take all the chemicals that are not good in the soil. So you must do your land preparation very well first. Make sure either you plow, there are those who do in big scale, but for small scale farmers, you use jembes, for example, to plow the land. You can make beds like us now here, we have beds. You can even plant on a flat land. If you are planting in one row, for example, like now I'll show you how to plant in one row. You just put one drip. Then you do a spacing of 45 centimeters between one plant and another one. But if you are using two drip lines, because there are people who want to plant 2 rows because of the plant population, you must make sure you are planting in zigzag. Like you plant one row, but the next row you make sure they are alternating. Why do we do that? First of all, this eggplant is a very vegetative plant. You will find when I show you the big ones, they have big leaves. And you don't want them to come close to each other, the way they will not get enough heat or, for example, sun. So you plant in alternate positions so that now they can support each other and shield each other, especially the fruits, against sunburns.
Once you've planted, what are the management practices so that the plants can thrive?
When we bring the seedling from the nursery, first of all, it has no disease or pest infestation. So initially in the first like 1 or even the first 2 months, we don't apply any chemicals. You know, an eggplant is a bit hardy. It's not like tomatoes. So it may not be affected by cutworms. So first of all, as we put fertilizer like yesterday, we put DAP. We mix it together and then we leave it. Then today morning, we put water so that now the soil is soaked because the seedling is still very soft. You don't want to have a transplanting shock. So we put water in the morning, then now our workers now will come later and now transplant all together. So our plants 100% they will start growing.
So Gladys, I've seen that some farmers plant eggplants in greenhouses and some in open fields. So which one is really favorable?
In the open field, the problem is sunburn mostly. Eggplants are very delicate fruits. You'll find them with sunburns. Like even a small sun like this in the afternoon hours, it will be affected. In the greenhouse, we have like transition to the market almost 99%. We don't have sunburns. All fruits are quality.
Are eggplants heavy consumers of water?
They don't require a lot of water, eggplants. We water them like we water and then we like jump for 2 days, especially when they are big. We don't water every day.
The temperatures here in Laikipia are normally quite high, yeah? So what are the favorable climatic conditions when it comes to eggplants?
I would say it has varying climatic conditions. Anybody in this country, for example in Kenya, can plant eggplants. You'll find them growing very well in Ukambani. The same, this is Rumuruti. You will still find another farmer in Kiambu. Eggplant is doing excellent. I've not seen a farmer growing them in very high altitude. But every other environment that is at least where the temperatures go from 17 to 28 degrees, it's okay.
I've seen that you've grown these eggplants in a small portion of land. What is the cost of production?
Like this variety, to be specific, this is Onyx variety. And at the market right now in Nairobi, if you go, you'll find 1 kilo at 80 shillings. That's a very good price. So for a farmer who wants to do it for commercial purpose, I would advise them first of all to grow like on a native and test the market, because as you can see, not like tomatoes which is eaten by everybody. This one has a specific market. The farmer must identify the gap, which area are you good in, you can grow for the export. And if you want to grow now this one for the local market, now you go to, for example, City Park, you go to the supermarkets and ask those people which type they want you to grow for them, because the market is there. It's only that farmers don't want to go to ask.
So with an eighth, how many seedlings roughly will a farmer need?
You know, we have a hybrid and open pollinated varieties. Hybrids are a bit expensive. Personally, I'll focus on hybrids because they are high productive. I want a farmer to plant, even if you plant few seeds, you get maximum production. So for this specific variety called Onyx, you require only 1,200 seedlings for an eighth. And then if you are a new farmer, you will require again to install, for example, a drip irrigation on your farm, which will cost you around 40,000 for an eighth. But there are other parameters. There are those people who want to do it without drip irrigation. They will use, for example, overhead. The others will use flood irrigation. Those ones now, the cost is a bit lower. So it's not an expensive venture. Anybody can start.
So you've talked about drip irrigation, flooding, and also sprinkler, but which one really is really favorable for eggplants?
Of course, I'll go for drip because it's less water. It will not waste a lot of water. Like when you direct the water to the plant, it will go direct to the plant. But for the flood irrigation, most of the water goes to it. It's a bit expensive. So I think investing in a drip irrigation is profitable in the long run.
I've learned a lot about eggplant.
Now let's get into this. How do we plant?
Spacing, we use a spacing of 45 centimeters between one plant and the other one. So this, our drip, has a spacing of 40 centimeters.
Yeah.
So we estimate, if this is 40, how many more we add? Just 5.
5,
yeah. So the first hole, we make it here, like this. Like this,
Yeah.
Then that's the first plant. Then the second plant, you come and say this is 40, and then somewhere
in the
here,
middle.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, like this.
Oh, and it's right in the middle.
It's right in the middle. So now you continue making holes like that. If this is
This is now at 40
so
here.
we put it here.
Yeah.
You see?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is how we do it.
Should not be
Make
very
holes.
deep.
Should not be very deep.
I can help you
because the
with some
seedlings
of
are
the
quite young. Now you can help me with making the rest of the holes. You just check, yeah. You must remove it from this cup. In most cases, they are usually in trays. But these ones now, they are in trays. Now this is our seedling. Yeah.
Ah, this is very nice.
Very nice.
So we just place it in the soil?
Now you just place it in the soil, yeah.
Okay. So this one is ready, yeah? One last one. We have to make one more hole right here.
Now, if you're not sure how to cook eggplant, then let me quickly take you through. Eggplant can be a low maintenance kind of vegetable. You might just need to cut to the desired shape, either round slices, long strips, or a dice, or even just pierce the skin with a fork and roast it. If your eggplant is larger and has a tougher skin, or you're just not a fan of eating eggplant skin, you can peel eggplant with a vegetable peeler. It's traditional to salt eggplant before you cook it, a technique that started way back when to reduce the bitterness and help draw out moisture. To cook eggplant in a pan on a stove, simply heat olive oil or any other oil in a pan over medium or medium high. Once the oil is hot, add the eggplant and cook until the eggplant is tender, around 5 to 7 minutes. If you want your eggplant to have a slightly browned finish, allow it to cook without stirring for a few minutes. Once the eggplant cubes or rounds are lightly browned, stir occasionally until tender. Also, wondering whether you can eat eggplant raw? It's okay to eat in small quantities raw, but better if it's cooked.
Hi, Rita.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to our farm.
So how are these performing so far?
We are good. This is one of our vegetables. I can see eggplant is a good plant because it's doing well inside the greenhouse and on the open field. If you look at this variety, this is Onyx. You can see it's one of the best varieties we have.
So why do you say it's the best variety?
There are some factors we are looking at. First is now disease resistant, then also production. And it's one of the most unique variety, doing well inside the greenhouse and on the open field. The fruits are quite big and also the color of the fruits.
James, tell us more about this Onyx variety. I heard that it's seedless.
Eggplant, this is Onyx variety, is seedless. It's parthenocarpic, doesn't require any pollination. And that's why it's thriving well inside the greenhouse and on the open field. When it's seedless, it doesn't require pollination. You know how with pollinated crops, it becomes a bit hard to grow them inside the greenhouse. But with this, you can do them inside the greenhouse and they do well and on the open field. Also, another advantage of this variety, it's spikeless, which makes it a bit easier for employees to work on, to carry out other activities on the crop.
So there's actually a variety that has spikes?
Yes, there are so many varieties with spikes, but with Onyx, spikeless.
So we're just from the open field, and I see that here the temperatures are controlled in the greenhouse. Does it perform better than open field because here the temperatures are controlled?
Yes, inside the greenhouse, usually it gets higher compared to the open field. Here, you know, now it's controlled environment, and there are so many factors, like the plant is protected from pests and diseases, and also other factors like weed or sun scorch, they can't affect the crops inside the greenhouse.
I see a lot of things happening here in this greenhouse. What are the cultural practices that normally happens in a greenhouse?
The management practices which carry on inside the greenhouse is actually weeding. That's the first. You know, now you reduce the competition of nutrients and water. Then there is pruning, remove the diseased and the old leaves. Then we go to staking. And so what we are actually doing is staking.
So what are the importance of staking this particular crop?
Eggplant is a heavy plant, especially when it produces. It can fall down, so that's why we have to support it. Also, it makes other activities to be a bit easier, like spraying, even harvesting. That's the reason why. And also the farm looks decent.
You've said that this is a control area, but I see you've installed some of the traps here. What are the diseases that affect eggplants?
With eggplant, the major pests we have is mites, thrips, whiteflies, and Chitapsorita. So that's why you can see we have the blue traps. These traps there, thrips, attracts the thrips. Then the yellow traps attracts the whiteflies. And you can see the traps for Chitapsorita.
And I've seen the basin one. That one controls which particular pest?
For the basin is for the reef miner.
What are the nutritional values when you consume eggplants?
Eggplant is rich in potassium, phosphorus, and vitamins. Potassium especially is good in regulating the blood sugar in the body and also protecting the cells from damages. Phosphorus helps to strengthen the bones.
So this particular area that we are at, how many weeks old or months old are these eggplants?
Right now, this is the 6th week since planting, transplanting, and in the next 4 weeks, or actually 3 weeks, we are supposed to start harvesting.
Ah, that is quite insightful, James. Tell me, is there a section that we can harvest some of the crops?
We have some which you can harvest, and my colleague Gladys, who is on the other side of the greenhouse, will show you how to harvest.
Ah, okay. Then let's go meet Gladys. You heard the agronomist. He said these eggplants are high in fiber, high in protein, vitamin, low in fat. Whoa, I will have to try this crop, right? This will be my next delicacy. Gladys.
Yes, hi, Linda.
Ah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Now show me how to harvest.
Yes, now you need to know how to harvest. You can see the quality of the fruit.
Wow, yes, you see, and it has a long stalk.
Yes, it has a long stalk. You must maintain this stalk to avoid dehydration before they get to the market.
To increase the shelf life.
Yes, and to increase the shelf
Okay.
life. And they also look presentable, you can see, when you
Okay.
harvest with the stalk.
Okay, show me how to harvest.
Yeah, sure. Now you look for, it should have attained the maximum size. Yeah.
Okay, show
so we use this sekatua to harvest because we don't want to damage the fruits. So you come here and just cut, leave some stock here, and you also leave another one here so that there is no disease, like for example fungal, that will come and attack the
Will
plants.
it regrow?
No, now that's okay. Now you'll go harvesting other fruits. Other fruits will keep coming up.
Okay, let me identify. Is this ripe?
No. Check firmness, check color.
Okay, I think this one is
Yeah,
ready
that one.
for
Yeah,
harvest.
you can harvest that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me see. Oh,
Nice. Yeah, that's how we do it now.
so this one is ready also? Okay, let's do this. Wow, look at this. So Gladys tells me that you have to look at the color and the firmness. When you go to the market, look at the color, deep color, no wrinkles whatsoever, and that you're good to go. And also the shelf life. If you want to stay for long with it, then you have to harvest it with a long stalk, or also pick it from the shops with a long stalk to help you with the shelf life. So that has been the eggplant episode. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Myself, I've enjoyed the show. You've heard the nutritional values of eggplant, and I'm sure it will be in your table in your next meal as your delicacy. Thank you so much for watching the show today. My name is Linda Koskei. See you again next week, same time.